Hello, everybody. It's Bonnie here. It's Intuitive Eating Wednesday. Come on in. So I announced that I was doing an Intuitive Eating Wednesday live AMA. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything question. It's your time to ask questions of me around intuitive eating. So first off, we do have a lot of new members in our group here, so welcome to everybody. There's a lot of goodness here in this group. So when you have time, take a look at the posts, take a look at the previous trainings that I've done, and post comments and questions, because we are here in this group to help you. So let me know if you're here with me live. I see that I do have 2 viewers, so let me pull up my comments and see who is here. Come say hello. Hold on. Always seem to have an issue with comments. Open my comments in a new tab. Let's see if I can do that. Yes, Sheila. Hi, Sheila. How are you? All right, let's see. Just give me a sec because I'm trying. Oh, I got it. I got it. Yes. Me and tech. I don't know about that. How are you, Sheila? Thank you so much for being here. Whoever else is here, come say hello. We are tackling some questions around intuitive eating. Now, Sheila is lucky. She's one of the lucky ones. You're good, good. Sheila's one of the lucky ones because Sheila is actually in the Intuitive Eating Basics course and the Intuitive Nutrition Circle, the membership program. So she gets to ask really detailed questions of me and get some personal coaching within our group. As a matter of fact, we had a Q&A on Monday. We had a group call, and we did a lot of celebrations in that group. So Sheila gets to be here in this group, but also gets to get further insight from me and all her questions answered in our other course. So I'm grateful for you, Sheila. So as many of you know, I hosted a webinar on Monday evening. The webinar was called 3 Steps to Eating for Healthy Living using the Intuitive Eating Blueprint. What I want everybody to understand is, first of all, it was a great conversation. A lot of people who were there had many aha moments, but I recognize that I shared a lot of information and it really could get overwhelming. So I would say about half of the people that were attending had heard of intuitive eating before. Some have been practicing it, but there are some little loopholes that they're unsure of, and then some just feel overwhelmed by the whole process, and others it was very new to these attendees. So I really wanted to be able to answer questions. So I do have some questions that came in, which I'm going to get to. And it's so interesting because whenever I do one of these webinars and then host a Q&A, quite honestly, a lot of the same questions come up for people, which is definitely expected. And so I'm very grateful for that participation. Claire, hi Claire, how are you? Claire says, I'm on a new medication. My hunger level is much higher. I've recently been gaining weight, having trouble coping with that. I can understand that. Absolutely can understand that, Claire. Sometimes with a new medication, we do have a greater appetite and we're hungrier, and it's important to honor that hunger. So, the question is, you're saying you're gaining some weight. What else is going on around that weight gain? There's lots of things that we could really explore on that. I wish you would come into the Intuitive Nutrition Circle because we can really break that down for you and coach you in that area and get support. So give some thought to that. So let's talk a little bit about this concept of, you say you're not weighing yourself, you can tell it's going up, right? I can hear you on that, right? I guess you can tell by your clothing, how you feel in your body. So weight gain is often, let's just jump in with that now that, Claire brought that up, because it actually was one of the questions that were submitted and something that came up on our webinar call, is this fear of weight gain. So for a lot of people who make the decision to not diet anymore, there are a lot of fears that come up, right? A lot of fears, and one of the main fears is weight gain. Why is that, right? Why do you think that is? because we've been pretty much brainwashed from this culture that we have to be a certain weight, look a certain way. And you're holding on to the false promise that a diet and restriction is going to help you achieve that weight and or that body. The problem with that is, even if that diet has provided that result for you, we know that it is short term. And so I would say everybody on the webinar, and most likely most of you in this group here, understand that all your years of restriction hasn't worked for you. And I will use air quotes around the word worked, because you associate worked with weight loss or achieving a certain body. And although you may have had that weight goal achieved through dieting, it was short term, because then you regain the weight. What do we know? We know that up to 97% of people regain the weight, right? Now, if you've heard me talk before, you've probably heard me talk about this before as well. But the repetition is so important. Why? Because there may be certain situations in time, like Claire, who's given up dieting a very long time ago, but there are certain situations or curveball that life throws you, like a new medication that's causing more hunger and thus more, feelings of weight gain, that might propel you back to dieting, or not officially dieting, but restriction, which is dieting. And how do we really protect ourselves from that? Because dieting doesn't work. We have so much of a fear of this weight gain. What I shared then, and I will share with you now, is this. Dieting is what triggers overeating. Dieting is, and the research is super clear, that dieting causes weight gain. Think about the weight you were the very first time you went on a diet and the weight you are now. More than likely you're higher if you've been rebounding and yo-yoing and on that roller coaster. One of you who were on the webinar, I can't remember who, I think I actually remember who, said that I'm so tired of this merry-go-round, right? It's time to get off the merry-go-round. So the fear of weight gain is strong. I understand it. I have compassion with you. I get it. But what I encourage you to do is not let the fear hold you back from getting started or continuing on or recommitting to this journey of living diet free, of getting back in touch with your inner signals. So Claire's an example of a situation that there's an outside influence causing her to possibly gain more weight, right, Claire? It's not the fact that Claire is not dieting, but there's another influence, a variable that really can be addressed. So where am I going with this? The question that was submitted was, I'm so afraid of gaining weight by not dieting. So let me address a second question that came in that can tie into this concept of weight. So if you're with me live or you're listening on replay, and I'm checking here with the comments, go ahead and let me know if that is one of your fears when you made the decision, or if you're contemplating no longer dieting. Is the fear for you the potential of weight gain? Let me remind you, and I use this analogy on the I think it's called an analogy on the webinar, is that the diets don't work, but they still feel like a safety net for you, right? You keep going back. Why do you keep going back? Because they feel safe. But that net has a ton of holes in it, which is why you've regained the weight over and over again and have cycled through diet after diet. So there was a question that came in relation to metabolism. And this individual was sharing with me that she feels from her decade long of dieting, her metabolism must have been impacted. Why does she say that? Because she says to me in the question, it was like a paragraph question, she says that over all these years, she's cut back and cut back and cut back and cut back on her intake. And how can I eat less than I'm eating, she says to me, and I'm still not losing weight. So my metabolism has slowed down. My metabolism is all messed up. Can this ever change? So, certain things, let's backtrack. What is metabolism? Your metabolic rate, right? The metabolic rate is the rate at which your body turns food into fuel. Remember, food is fuel for your body. Your body needs fuel as energy to function. When you don't give your body enough fuel, well, your body has to say, uh-oh, starvation is coming. I need to conserve what I'm getting, what I'm taking in, and your metabolism slows down. So your body slows down the rate at which it turns that food into fuel, and then it'll store it as fat. So can this slowed metabolism be healed? It can, okay? It can. But the reason this individual is sharing me, she's eating less and less and less. How can I eat less? Well, that's the problem. By eating so few, let me say it this way. By eating so little, you think you're doing yourself a good thing because I'm going to lose weight if I eat less. But on the contrary, you're putting your body on call. Your body is waiting for the next famine to happen. So it has to preserve the food, conserve the fuel you're giving it. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense? Sheila says yes. Okay. So over time, the body begins to heal from starvation and it will begin to regulate itself. And fueling yourself and nourishing yourself can support a healthy metabolism. It is key. It is key. Now, let's remember that we do not know what our bodies are going to do, right? We just don't. We don't know if you decide to give up dieting, well, what's going to happen to my body? I can't tell you that. You can't tell yourself that. Only your body knows that. But what we do know is what we can do to help it. What we can do to help it. Okay? When I get this question, I know the underlying thought process of the question. And the underlying thought process of the question is always related to weight loss, right? When I stop dieting, will I lose weight? Here's the thing, we have to unpack this whole weight piece. I actually did a training. It's living here in this Facebook group, all about unpacking the weight piece. So you may want to search for that later, okay? The reality here is that someone with a history of weight cycling will have a much more difficult time healing their metabolism, but it doesn't mean they can't. Okay? All right? There's this theory called the set point theory. Have you heard of the set point theory? Claire, I see your comment. I will get to that again. Hold on a second. I will get to your comment. Hold on. The set point theory. So here's the thing. We're born with a genetic blueprint. In the genetic blueprint lies a lot of things about you from when you're born. What color hair you're going to have, how tall you're going to be, what your shoe size is going to be, and what your weight is going to be, right? Your set point weight. And when you diet, here's what happens. You are losing weight and dropping that weight very likely below what your natural set point weight is. Now, the brain is monitoring 24/7 your needs. And when the brain sees this happening, it goes into survival mode, and certain things start to happen, such as increased hunger signals, and it'll slow down metabolism, all in an effort to bring that weight back to its set point weight, the weight at which you are destined to be based on your genetic blueprint. Now, when you weight cycle and you then continue this process of losing weight through dieting, and then the brain kicks in to kind of keep you alive, and you gain that back, get you back to that set point over and over again, you can raise that set point weight. The only way to stop this is to stop the weight cycling and the dieting. So that restriction piece followed by the weight regain, rinse and repeat situation, right? Here's where the problem comes in, is that many times people are just not happy with what their weight set point is. Now, you don't know necessarily what that weight set point is, but if you would, think about what was the weight before I started dieting, and was I able to maintain that weight? Maybe that's it. The problem really is that people have a number in their head. They have, like, you're harboring this fantasy around your dream body or your dream weight. Again, not your fault. It's messages that we get. It's not just messages from the media, from society, but from doctors, right? From family members. And if you're harboring this fantasy of weight loss, and you're now pulling that dream into, okay, I'll do intuitive eating for weight loss, right? It's going to impact your ability to eat intuitively, because it keeps you entrenched in diet mentality and doesn't allow for full trust. So let me just share actually a story. It's just coming up to me. So many people say, so Bonnie, okay, if I do this intuitive eating, am I going to lose weight? And I say, intuitive eating, make sure we understand this clearly. Intuitive eating is not a weight loss diet. It's not a weight loss program. And I'm not going to promise you anything of what will happen. I can tell you that your weight loss and gain yo-yoing will stop. Your body will stabilize somewhere. The next piece is being happy where it stabilizes. Maybe it stabilizes where you've expected it to. Maybe not. That's the healing part of the process, the body image healing that we do as well. So my story basically is a client that we were talking with on the call the other night. Actually, we had a group call for the Intuitive Nutrition Circle. And this is a client who worked with me through my programs, my Whole Body Trust program. And we really started integrating gentle nutrition for a while. And over time, again, curveballs of life. And she shared the other night that she's really been focusing with a healthy mindset, because she's no longer thinking like a dieter. She is and has integrated all the teachings of intuitive eating, and now has really worked the gentle nutrition process in. And she has shared with us the other night that she's lost weight. I'm not going to talk about how much. And she says to me, I know, I'm going to try to say this in a way, because I know you don't like to talk about weight loss. And I corrected her. I said, it's not that I don't like to talk about weight loss. Not at all. If your body naturally releases weight once you release restriction, and you've incorporated intuitive eating concepts and principles and gentle nutrition and movement into your life, and your body released weight, that's what your body needed to do. Yeah, of course, if you're feeling better, superb. What myself personally and those true advocates of intuitive eating are not promoting and are not for is the intentional pursuit of this weight loss, because that's through dieting and restriction. But if it happens through all the learnings and the processes and the gentle nutrition, yeah, great, that's what your body needed to do. And it goes back to the set point theory, that your body returned to what its natural set point was as it was destined within its genetic blueprint. I hope that gives some clarity, and I'm happy to answer any questions further about this. So Claire shares, not dieting, never again, and I know that, Claire. Just need to work on my frame of mind about what is happening, feeling a bit sad, don't feel as healthy, and yet I'm taking the medicine to improve my health. Right. So I get that. I hear that. And sometimes, Claire, it's just an initial impact of the medication, and it will kind of even out. And other times there might be another more weight neutral medication that you can use for the same health condition, and these are just things that you may want to inquire about. Sheila says, when I had a problem with my gallbladder, I ate almost nothing for fear of pain and only lost 1 pound a week, but after a month there was a big difference. You're correct. The metabolism can come back. Yeah, the metabolism can come back. Claire says, I guess I need to accept that this is what my body needs to do now. Exactly. Exactly. Again, we go through different phases of our lives. Absolutely. Being harsh with ourselves never, ever helps. Again, let me go back to that common fear of weight gain in this process. There's this pendulum, right? If you've been restricting and you've been dieting, and I know Claire's heard the pendulum situation here, but if you've been dieting and you've restricted and the pendulum is up here, the tightest it can be in restriction, and you say, okay, I'm no longer dieting, I'm releasing that pendulum, and now I'm going all the way to the other side. Bring on all the foods that I haven't eaten, all my forbidden foods. And you're just eating and eating and eating and eating because you're really working on bringing it back into your eating world. The pendulum is now up here. Maybe you'll gain weight in the process initially. But as you neutralize these foods, they will become, the pendulum will swing back into the neutral place. Not everybody swings the pendulum to this side. As a matter of fact, Sheila's with us. Sheila's just started this journey. Sheila's with us about 3 or 4 weeks now. She started with the Intuitive Eating Basics course. And from my conversations with Sheila, and she could attest to this, her pendulum did not swing all the way up to, we say restriction, diet land to donut land. It didn't. She very neutrally began to emotionally look at food on a neutral basis and savored it. So Sheila has not necessarily gone up to that up here pendulum. So everybody's experience is different. Everybody's experience is different. Okay. So then there was a question. Let me go back to my question list because I do go off on tangents. If you're with us live and you have a question, please jot it in the comments. Let's see. Okay, here. More weight questions, which I get. Okay, so again, I just want to, remind you and let you know, I totally understand that your desire to lose weight is normal because we live in a very weight-centric, fat-phobic culture. I would say for most of us, it's not, realistic to wake up one day and just love everything about your body and expect you to snap out of the beliefs that you have and the feelings you have about your weight. With that said, it's very possible over time. So if you're contemplating this journey, but a big factor for you is the fear of weight gain, understand that no one is saying to you, just don't worry about your weight. Don't worry about your weight, because that wouldn't be realistic or respectful, okay? So the best thing for me to say to you is just to understand that yes, not feeling like you're not in quote unquote control of your weight can be frightening because it's what you've heard all your life, that you can and should be controlling your weight and your body. And if you're not, then you're not trying hard enough and you're sloppy and so forth, right? That's diet culture speaking to you. So it puts a lot of pressure on you. So what I'm sharing here with you is to say, take that pressure off of yourself. Acknowledge that unfortunately or fortunately, we just don't have that control over our weight that everybody thinks or is giving you the messages that you do. But you absolutely can support a healthy body through, number one, giving up the restriction and the restriction deprivation rebound eating cycle, to learn to stabilize your weight, to nourish yourself well, and to have faith that your body will do what it needs to do. Just like this client I shared earlier. She wasn't pursuing weight loss intentionally, but she did report the other day this weight loss that she had because of all that she's learning and the pressure she took off of herself. Okay, so other questions. In the Intuitive Eating Basics course with support, I was asked to review the group coaching component. So let's talk a little bit about this whole idea of leaving dieting behind. It's very important to have support through the process. It's so important. A lot of us in any industry will buy courses online and we won't necessarily finish them, or we'll kind of come up with challenges and we have no one to ask questions, and so we kind of, leave it by the wayside. So therefore, I really made this decision that I would not be serving the people in my community well if I just offered a course without support. And this is why after the webinar, I invited you into the Intuitive Eating Basics course with support. So let me clarify a couple of things. The first being, the Intuitive Eating Basics course is a taste of intuitive eating. It is, if you heard about intuitive eating but you've been overwhelmed and you kind of just don't know where to go and what to do and how to start, this is for you. If you've never heard of intuitive eating but this is interesting to you and you're like, I want a taste of it, what is this? You're getting your feet wet with intuitive eating. We're learning about the diet mentality, diet culture, detoxing from diet culture, reconnecting with hunger and fullness that you're born with, and really redefining your self-worth so that it is not attached to a number on a scale. You can always then go further to learn about the intuitive eating principles. By the way, if you're new to the intuitive eating concept, there are 10 principles that embody intuitive eating, and learning each and every principle and learning not just intellectually about the principles, but how to integrate it into your life is key. So Intuitive Eating Basics is your starting point. Having said that, I have had actually several clients who have worked with me through my deeper dive whole body trust intuitive eating program, but then have gone to the Intuitive Eating Basics as a review for them, and it was wonderful as well. So the support piece comes within my membership program. Not to confuse you, but just to let you know, we have a wonderful group of women, a small intimate group of women who get together. We all get together twice a month for Q&A, coaching, support, and I've included as part of the Intuitive Eating Basics course your membership in this. It's called the Intuitive Nutrition Circle. I abbreviate it as the In Circle because it's the in place to be. And that is where we learn more about intuitive eating and how to really bring in the gentle nutrition component. And you can get all your questions answered within the context of that in circle. I encourage you to utilize that support. So we do meet twice a month, the second and fourth Mondays, and I'm always having extra guest speakers coming in. So this coming Monday, we have a wonderful guest speaker. He's an intuitive chef. He'll be teaching us how to cook intuitively, sharing lots of amazing thoughts and philosophies, but we'll also be in his kitchen preparing a recipe for us in an intuitive way and then sharing that with us. So there's lots of support there. So that's how, for the person who asked about the course and the support, that's how that works. An important question, I want to look at the time and just honor everybody who is here with the time, but there was another question that came in, and this question is always asked to me, not just people who are contemplating intuitive eating, but even people who I'm working with or I get started with, and they ask me, well, how long does it take for me to become an intuitive eater again? So let me first say that, as a reminder, you were all born intuitive eaters. You were born with an innate ability to know when you're hungry, to know when you're full, to know when to start eating, and to know when to stop, and you honored it as a baby. But for some reasons, and there are several, which we're not going to go into now, you've moved away from using that ability that you were born with. And thus, the goal is to bring that back to the surface so that you can recognize these signals and utilize these signals as your guide to eating. Well, how long does it take to bring that back up to the surface? Because it's been suppressed and buried over all these years. And again, for many of you, it's not just a few years, it's decades. The answer to that is very individualized, and it is dependent on a lot of factors. Number one, how long you've been dieting, how strongly entrenched the diet mentality is, how long you've been using food to cope with different factors in your life and emotions, how willing you are to put the desire for weight loss just on a shelf or on the back burner for now. Like, again, I'm just not acting on it. I see it, I know it, I recognize it's there. These are all factors. So there's no one answer to how long it will take. But I'll tell you, when you begin this process, it's more about the journey than the destination. You've probably heard that before. Because each and every day, each and every week, you're feeling more and more like you're getting it. You're connecting back to your body. And that's what it's about. The dieting has disconnected you from the inner wisdom, because you've been given all that over to somebody else, external from your body, all the rules, all the guidelines, right? You've given away your right to make decisions around food in your body. We're taking that right back. We're taking it back. So ultimately, you have full autonomy over food in your body. And that process is a process that takes time. It depends on the individual. So for some, it's quicker. For some, it's slower. It doesn't matter, because it's not about the end goal. With dieting, it's about the end goal. You start here. Here is usually a certain weight. You end there. That is a certain weight as what we call your goal. And if you veer this way, I'm off track, I got to start again. If you veer that way, fell off the wagon, I got to start again. That's dieting. That's diet mentality. We're done with that. The journey towards coming back to a place of connecting with your body, your inner wisdom, is just that. It's journey. It's a process. And there will be twists and there will be turns, but with each twist and turn, you're learning and you're growing. There's no such thing as a setback anymore. It's a wonderful way to learn and a wonderful way to come back to the way you were born. If you have any thoughts, any comments, please post them in the comment section. So, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. I want to remind you, let me just take a quick break and share with you that the Intuitive Eating Basics course right now is open, where you can save $200. You will have access to all the trainings, the modules, the action guides, the MP3 recordings, the bonuses. I haven't even mentioned yet, there are extra bonuses. There's mindful eating mantra cards. There's a mindful eating meditation for you. And you will have access to the membership program, the In Circle, where you will get twice monthly coaching and 24/7 coaching within the community forum, plus access to guest speakers and everything else. $200 off. All of that is just $299 to get started, okay? The membership program after that is $47 a month. It's peanuts. If you were to hire a nutritionist, a registered dietitian for a session, you're looking at $200 a session. So we're talking $47 a month. You can cancel that at any time, but most people don't, because it's a tremendous value for $47. So I encourage you to look at the link that I'll share below. If you've been on my webinar, you have the link. The link is in the cover of this group, intuitiveeatingbasics.com/with support. I am closing the doors down Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and after that, the price is back up to $499, which if you go to my website now, you'll see that's what it is. So this is a special link just for those in this group and for who attended the webinar. I really encourage you to consider it. Claire says, I'm feeling a little better now. Thanks for your feedback. You're the best. Thanks, Claire. Support is important, peeps. It's important. It is important. Okay, so that's all I have for you for now. I'm going to jump off to get on with a client. But if you have any questions or you want to get on a quick phone call with me, send me a message, DM me, tag me in this video below that you're DMing me, or that you want to talk about if this is a program that's right for you. I'm more than happy to help you jump over the fence and make this decision. This Q&A will live live right here in our group. And again, the door is closed to this special offer on Friday, this coming Friday the 17th. So it's Wednesday. You have 2 days to decide. But don't wait 2 days, jump in on it, because I don't know when I'm going to be offering this again, because I am going to be working over the summer on changing up some of my offerings. So getting in at this low rate is probably something that you want to do now, because things are going to be changing come the fall. For the better, always, but if you're already in my world as part of the Intuitive Nutrition Circle, you get savings on everything that I do and offer. All right. Thanks for being here, Sheila. Great information today. Thank you, Sheila. Hey, Sheila, if you know of any friends that could benefit, let them know about this special that I have going on. It's always nice to do this together in a community and with friends, just like your daughter referred you to me, and I'm so happy she did. All right, everybody, have an amazing rest of your day, and any questions on the program, let me know. I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.